So, every once in a while, like, I kind of, like, see how I'm like, oh yeah, knowing that is the only way that you would have any idea, like, why a certain political, like some stories in the news or something along those lines. And so this just happened to be something that, like, years and years ago I learned from, it was this guy, still on YouTube. He was on the radio here in the Northwest a long time ago. And he's probably still on some kind of radio, something or other. His name is Tom Hartman. And he had this whole thing that he did that, because he didn't like Benny Netanyahu. And it was actually interesting, quite exactly why. He would cite frequently a white paper that I found that Netanyahu had written on his adversity to labor Zionism. Now, what was interesting is, you see, the reason I was even thinking about this was when you inadvertently praise something and that you don't realize that there's not many logical ways that this works. Obviously, like, if Netanyahu's bad, one of the key reasons why is because he wants to end labor Zionism. Well, what is labor Zionism? Why is it so good? You end up seeing this, like, movement, the one that establishes the kibbutzim, and it's a very interesting article on Wikipedia, and so it was one of these things that at one stage I was like, it's the key to their socialists in their politics in the early state of Israel was the labor Zionism movement, and so that's where you get the kibbutznikim. And so, without knowing that, you can't really know about why there is sort of these ultra-religious guys and who they're against. It just comes across like as our party politics. But also, that's kind of what Tom Hartman was kind of showing, is that this is key to his understanding also of our party politics, that he was fundamentally starting the early kind of thing, and this is way back, about 14 years ago probably, of a connection between American quote-unquote progressives, this was very new at the time, and the labor Zionists of Israel. And so so I wanted to bring this up because of just this idea of you will see the press weave ties between ideological movements and political movements. These are allied movements, this, that, and the other. And one of the key things is that as the Republican Party starts to eject more and more of these kind of neocon uniparty types, they're actually going to have a real problem of, they aren't going to have sort of these people with international inspirations outside of really those who have certain regional interests. And really, Trump introduced this, people actually commented on this, is that he was very good at listening to people's self-interest and recognizing them as completely valid, so that everybody at the table could express what really they really want. They would like this, they need this, they would like this, and then all the parties could start really dealing with each other truly equally then, because everybody's interests were being recognized. And so I've been thinking about that, like, and this was really said about his diplomacy, that he did a lot more listening than speaking, which I think that's the thing. Again, people want sort of there to be, and then there was that in my mind, the Trump that's in their mind there's the type of Trump that people want to exist. Sometimes he's super powerful. He's a god emperor, a mega genius level, and that's why he's a billionaire. And because of his super 9,000 brain and all this stuff, and time traveling Baron Trump and everything. But really, he's obviously a man who's got a weakness for the ladies, and he likes things colored in gold, and and there's a lot of it that once you kind of acknowledge, well, but this, that, or the other is a political thing he would do that's really not just in his own self-interest, but would be in many, 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 many other people's self-interest who fundamentally are not even anywhere near his economic level. This kept coming up, that it was like, no, that he actually does do that. He's really altering fundamentally a lot of the way that we're the course of how we extract taxation and such, and so that we incentivize certain kinds of behavior, such as doing good things and making a business, investing in the future, stuff like that. Now that's gone kaputski. And you can see it all in fiscal policy and monetary policy, and so this guy in their mind, it was up to all kinds of stuff. That at times you would be sitting there thinking, like, you really think he thinks something like that, and realizing, like, wow, this person, I didn't realize how fucked up this person was, to think like Trump thinks like that low level. And so I was just thinking, I'm going to be rolling this around in my mind because of how this has started to undo the left and the liberals and the Democrats and even Western European liberal parties, that they believed their own press, and then really it was reconfirming their new religion and this new devil in their mind, the golden devil in their mind, and so just some thoughts I was having.